Yeah, I can hear you the whole time. Let me do it. Let me mute and unmute. How about now? All right. Okay. Okay.
Good evening, Second Baptist, and welcome to Family Check-In. We are grateful that you thought it not robbery to tune in today. And we've got an exciting guest. We got a power couple on today that we'd like for you to talk and hear what's going on in the city as well as educational wise. But we want to first thank you so much for allowing us to come into your homes, and we pray everybody's well. We also want to remind you that the third Sunday, we'll be at Surf Stadium, and we're grateful for that, and we're looking forward to that. 8 o'clock in the morning, Surf Stadium, second at the Surf, 8 a.m. And we also want you to be in prayer for our bereaved families that we have. We have passing to Alma Jackson. We have Dennis Chapman, the father of Dr. Chapman, and the mother of Muriel McFadden. So we ask you to please be in prayer for them in their time of bereavement. Also, we want to say happy birthday to
Happy
everybody who was born
birthday.
in
Yes,
August.
August.
Yeah. And so there's a great deal of folk who were born in August, and we want to say happy birthday to
Yes.
each and every one of you. Want to say hello, honey?
Just wanted to say hello to everyone. And again, we are thankful that you're allowing us to come and share with you on today. And yes, we want to wish everybody who has a birthday in August a happy birthday. I do want to give a shout out to my nephew BL, whose birthday is today, and our goddaughter Felicia, whose birthday will be on Tuesday, and Miss Marie Woods, whose birthday will be on Wednesday, and every Miss Mincy, who celebrated a birthday on yesterday. So we're just grateful to God for all of those who are sharing in their birthdays, and we want to celebrate with you. And we just thank God for you allowing us to come into your homes.
We're grateful today. We've got, like I said earlier, we've got a power couple on today. We're really excited and really proud of Mayor Smalls and Dr. LaQuetta Smalls, are members of Second, and we're really honored to have them on today. And first of all, we want to say congratulations to
Congratulations.
Mayor Marty Small on a big, 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 big
Yes,
win. We
congratulations.
have been supporting you, and Second is one of your biggest supporters, and we want to say congratulations. You just didn't win, but you won by a landslide, and we want to say congratulations to you, and welcome on to Family Check-In. And we also have his lovely wife, I said it's
Yes.
a power couple, who is the principal of Atlantic City High, and doing a great job. And we know that we're coming into a unique year, and so we want to know what's going on in Atlantic City, the public schools, and what you got planned for Atlantic for the high school. So, Mayor, say hello. What's going on in the city of Atlantic City? And as we said, congratulations.
Yes, thank you for having me. I'm honored to be a guest, and I appreciate all the support. I was humbled by the turnout. I was humbled by the support. And as you say, Pastor, pre-pandemic in church, Second showed up and out, at the polls, and I'm grateful for that. And it's a great day here in the city of Atlantic City, and with the continued support and prayers, we're going to take this city to greater heights that it hasn't seen before, and I'm prepared to do that. And I'm just honored again to receive the support. We have to run again in November. We don't take it for granted, but I'm sure that we'll be successful, and we'll prove ourselves again over the next year and provide further stability and going into the 4-year election next year, which I'm extremely excited about. I believe that we're in a great place.
I'm glad you reminded me of that because normally in Atlantic City, whoever wins, Democratic primaries, all wins. So we do have to be mindful that we still have a vote in
November.
November, election in November, and we need people to continue to come out, and especially we need everybody to come out because we need to change presidents without question,
Yes.
and
Amen.
it's important that we all
Amen.
get out to vote. But Mayor, one of the things that I want to say first of all, you have been doing a tremendous job, and I think you have represented the city of Atlantic City very, very well, and especially not only through the pandemic, which causes economic issues, but also during this civil unrest. We had an unfortunate incident of some looting and in the city, and I think that you have done a tremendous, tremendous job. And I want to tell you that I like to say in behalf of so many, thank you so much for the job you're doing and the great way in which you are representing the city of Atlantic City.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Laquetta, you know you are.
How are you?
We look like you in the same house but in different rooms. I see you got everybody got y'all surrounded by the stuff that y'all love. You know, I see this Delta stuff all over. You know, and in the red room, I can understand that.
I don't
So
think
as
Mandy is
we're
going to
getting
like
ready,
that.
Saying something
I'm
there.
sorry. Go ahead.
I don't think Mandy is going to like that. The Delta stuff.
I know man is not gonna like that at
All
all.
Greek love.
You said it's all with love. Yeah.
That's exactly right.
All Greek love.
Oh, it's all Greek love. Well, you know, but I know there's a little rivalry there. So as we're getting ready, you know, not only is everybody has been dealing with the pandemic and it's thrown all of us off kilter, but especially coming in, you know, the pandemic started before the school year ended, and you know, and now coming into the new year, we're still dealing with the pandemic. We were hoping and praying that it was all going to be over shortly, but it looked like it's going to be around for a while. So I know everyone had to make some adjustments, including my wife, as relates to what school is going to look like for the fall semester. So what are we looking like for Atlantic City?
So, of course, we're using the governor's guidelines to guide us as we make plans for this coming school year. And, you know, our primary focus will be the health, safety, and well-being of all staff members. Of course, as we know, education is the utmost priority, but we have to consider the health and safety in all decisions that we make to ensure that we minimize or prevent issues with COVID and other health issues.
Have there been a determination what you know whether it's going to be virtual or whether it's going to be kind of in school a couple of weeks, a couple of days, a staggered schedule? Any decisions have been made yet, or you're still in that planning process?
Well, we're still in the planning process, but the district is leaning towards the hybrid schedule in which students are in school 2 days a week, uh, using an A and B schedule. And then just most recently, the governor has mentioned that students may opt out totally for full remote. But we meet with the district team twice a week, so we're planning to ensure that we make the best decisions to keep everyone safe.
Amen.
Okay. With
It's
the
going to be a challenge. It's definitely going to be a challenge, particularly at the high school, because you know schools aren't really designed to practice social distancing, and we're
Absolutely.
looking at 1,800 students. Even if we split them on 2 days, still like it's a large number to try to maintain social distancing within a high school setting. It's going to be a challenge for all of us.
Yes.
yeah, what about if it goes to a if for virtual learning? How did it work out for you know by the end of school? How did it go then? You know, with did all the kids have access to computers and the like?
Well, I can say that the district was definitely prepared. All the students were provided devices, Chromebooks, and laptops for the younger children. And I can't say it was definitely an adjustment for the teachers. I mean, you have a continuum of teachers on different spectrums of utilizing technology, but everyone kind of worked together to ensure that their colleagues were well prepared and equipped to ensure that our students didn't miss out on the education due to the circumstances.
Oh, and I do want to say, if anyone has any questions they'd like to ask, uh, they're gonna just you know make the comment, and we'll see if we can try to get your question asked today. Mayor, we're gonna come back to you. Well, first of all, honey, I know you with the education, so I know you've got some questions and some concerns as well.
Well, my concerns that you know is just the safety. It's just trying to make sure that you know what's being done to make sure that the students are safe. You know, I was listening to someone who worked with President Obama, and he talked about putting plexiglass on students' desks. And I was like, oh, I don't think they're doing that for us in the districts. So, I mean, what measures or what things are you doing to make sure that the students will be seated adequately? Are you recommending shields for your teachers along with masks? Um, how are you going to make sure that we don't succumb?
Well, we're definitely going to have a plan in place. Again, we are going to do the best that we can to ensure that the students are spaced 6 feet apart. Of course, at the high school level, same thing. Masks will be required. The temperature will be checked of all staff and students upon entering the building. Of course, we will have hand sanitizer. We will have visual reminders for space for social distancing throughout the building. Students in the primary grades, I know the district is considering plexiglass in offices as well as in the classrooms, similar to dividers. But again, where
Yeah.
the most administrators take breaks during the summer, but I don't believe any administrator in Atlantic City has taken a break yet
Yeah.
because we are working diligently to ensure that we are prepared for our students upon return because this is something that no one could prepare for. I mean, there is no
Right.
blueprint for this, but we're going to do the best that we can to ensure that our students are safe, and we want to minimize incidents. I mean, it's almost impossible to prevent COVID cases, but if you think about indoor dining, that's not occurring right now, but we're going to plan to allow students to receive an education indoors. So we are bracing ourselves and we are prepared, for what comes our way. And I know with the superintendent, Mr. Barry Caldwell, he's going to make decisions that's in our best interest. Whether he has to close the schools if there's an uptick or increase in cases in the district, but those are all decisions that's going to be made based on how the situation affects us when and if we return.
Yes.
Yeah. Mayor, with the pandemic, and I know you've been a champion to get more testing in Atlantic City, and I really appreciate that in terms of, I think it was very important that you really advocated to have free testing and testing without that people could just come up and get testing. And I know you had two spots because my family, we went and endured that,
Yes.
that test. It wasn't. It was
Painful.
for my wife and I. My daughter seemed to went through without a problem. What we know they're spiking again in New Jersey a little bit.
Yes.
We're going back up in New Jersey. What precautions should we be taking in Atlantic City, especially I work with the young people group. It's been so tough to keep them from getting closer. So we're really working hard with that. When I ride through the neighborhoods and I see some of the young people and some of their activities, they are jammed together without any masks. So what is the city doing to encourage social distance and the wearing of masks?
Well, I'm proud of the city's response. As you know, we were the leader in this area to promote testing, to promote free testing, to promote testing for Atlantic City residents. We've accomplished that. We've extended the contract for one more month. Now, based on the data that we saw, starting Tuesday and Thursday, the site will only be at the showboat for the final month because all the data showed that the majority of the testing was taking place there, which was a surprise to us, and it was a surprise to Judy Perchikili, the Department of Health Commissioner for the state of New Jersey. Um, Here in the city of Atlantic City, we have, as of this conversation, 447 cases. That's not 447 now, but throughout, 447 residents have been diagnosed with COVID-19. We're keeping an eye on the data. Excuse me. And at the end of the day, we have to have responsible adults. And I know there's been many times that I've been, leaving out my truck, going to a meeting and get to the door and say, "Oh, I forgot my mask." We just have to keep promoting social distancing. We have to keep promoting to keep the mask on. I know that we're in a transition period of bringing our employees back to work. Our plan was approved, similar to what the school district is offering for students. We're in the process of retrofitting our buildings, the public safety building, all city buildings, in City Hall as well with some plexiglass to protect our employees. We were gifted a donation. Emergency Medical Services out of New York donated 10,000 masks, face shields, hand sanitizers, gloves, wipes. So we were grateful for that. So that will hold down on the city's cost. So we're being mindful. We're encouraging people to social distance as much as possible. As a matter of fact, if you go on the boardwalk, I cut two videos to talk about have fun in Atlantic City, but maintain social distancing as well. And we're, in the same position where we're, looking at the state guidelines, and it's a fluid situation. It changes every single day. So, but we're going to be prepared because we've been proactive in this, and we're just going to listen to the health experts and rely on their subject matters opinions.
Your friend and my friend Kaleem just made some comment, but Kaleem, through Kaleem, we applied to the state for Second Baptist to be a pre-testing site as well. So we're hoping that we get approved for that, because I think the more testing we can get in the city is going to be that much more important.
And to piggyback on what you said in regards to testing, I want to give kudos to Senator Booker and Menendez for pushing that. And yes, I was on the phone with Senator Booker last week. He said, "Oh, I got one mayor calling me and just hung up from another. Ras Baraka from North called them doing the same thing, asking for money for COVID, related expenses." The state knows that the tests are important. I see there's some free testing going on, COVID tests and antibody tests this week in Pleasantville, and I'm sure that Atlantic City will be a priority as well because it's important to continue. But we've been blessed to not utilize taxpayers' monies, and it's my job to go find the money to continue the testing because people are coming back to, scheduled to come back to school. What if they need tests and we're not able to offer it or no longer afford it? So that's a priority of my administration. We're going to continue to network. We're going to continue to shake the trees, and we're going to continue to provide the resources for testing for Atlantic City residents.
And I was just going to say that, I wonder, will it be required for students or teachers to have a negative COVID-19 test before they can come back to work?
Ah,
That is not, that hasn't been part of our discussions. That is not a requirement per the state guidelines at this time. But it is part of the discussions that teachers are having because, of course, they're concerned that students may have been exposed or teachers
absolutely.
exposed, but it's not a requirement at this time.
Yeah. Mayor, what do you think some of the challenges? What are some of your goals for the city? And I know you've got a plan for the city to see it progress economically. I know there's a big push, and I know COVID-19 has really impacted small businesses. And I just saw a study this week that 50% of businesses prior to COVID-19 will probably fail during this pandemic. So, what is your plan for the city and getting it back up and running economically?
Well, we're at the forefront of that. We meet every Friday with the policy group, and that's like casino stakeholders, businesses. I want to give kudos to my director of constituent services, Bruce Weeks, who I've tasked the small business initiatives to, not the Small Business Academy, but just networking with small businesses throughout the state, networking with all the agencies such as EDA, LAEDA, the African American Chamber of Commerce with John Harmon. We are working with our federal partners. We have someone in Washington that are looking for monies on a federal to see if the city can set up its own loan bank, for residents and businesses during this difficult time. I know next week, I believe August 10th, I believe it's a week away, where citizens can apply for relief for rent and slash mortgage relief. But we want to make sure that the landlords aren't taking advantage of the situation and not passing the savings on to the tenants. So we're proactive with that. First and foremost, my priority for the taxpayers have always been, lowering expenses in the budget. In the pandemic, which the local finance board should vote on our budget in 2 weeks, and everything will be official. We delivered a tax decrease for the good people of Atlantic City, a 9.6 cents tax decrease with a percentage of 5.35% tax decrease. So, and we're projected fiscally to be in good shape. I met with the firemen and women in blue of our public works department, and I talked to them. They asked questions about furloughs. I said, we've been blessed so far to not even have a discussion about furloughs. But however, I would rather take a furlough than a layoff, because during these trying times, with the economy and the world upside down, this is not an Atlantic City issue. This is a worldwide pandemic, and finances are a mess all over the place. And I was saying to the city employees and school employees and whomever that we're all incredibly blessed. We need to thank God, now more than ever, that we're able to still collect a salary, because unfortunately, there are some people in this position that haven't had a paycheck in 5 months, and quite frankly, don't know when their next paycheck is coming based on the job that they have. So
Yeah.
we're incredibly blessed. We're going to continue to fight hard to hold on as long as we possibly can. And like I said, this is a fluid situation. Could furloughs, possible layoffs, and everything? Yes. I mean, that's just the nature of the times that we're in. But we're in such good shape financially that even for the next 3 years, we're projecting tax decreases for the good people of Atlantic City.
Amen.
And I'm just excited to end this pandemic and get to some sense of old normalcy, so we can see our full arsenal of plans that we have. We have a 41-page plan for the city of Atlantic City. A lot of those things we've already accomplished, and we're just going to keep pushing and keep the residents first, and more importantly, keep God first.
Amen.
So, Dr. Smalls, as the students are preparing to return back to school, and pre-venture that you do a hybrid situation, what is the challenge of getting students to come on or come into class, um, and parents are working?
Well, that's definitely a challenge because we've experienced that during, before the end of the school year. So what we're doing is just contacting the teachers and ensuring that they are engaging with their students. They're contacting parents. So just maintaining that open line of communication to ensure that the students are engaged as much as possible. I mean, with this situation, we're sure we're not going to get 100% participation, but at least the majority of the students are involved, and those students who are not engaged because they don't have any guidance at home, we're going to do our best the best that we can to ensure that those students are an active participant during the time that they are working. But that's definitely one of the challenges, because again, it's important that they are involved, and attendance matters, because we understand that there's going to be some education loss.
Absolutely.
But because we have the parental factor that many students do not have in their home because parents are working, that's definitely going to be one of the challenges. But it's important that the teachers have an engaging lesson as much as possible to, want students to be involved. The students should want to be involved as much as possible.
What did you, before you, what did you glean from uh, the end of school in terms of how well it worked, and how impactful it was for the students?
In the beginning, you had teachers who were not as technologically savvy as others. So in the beginning, everyone was just willing and eager to support their colleagues to ensure that everything worked. I would say towards the end of the year, the technology was intact, but then you saw a decline in student participation as the season started to change. So that was definitely a challenge. But the technology is there. I mean, I can say the district has provided us with the resources to ensure, an educational process as best we can under the circumstances. I think the district did a good job, but I mean, there were some concerns with some students who were not actively engaged the entire time. And I'm sure that's going to happen when we return, because again, if you don't have anyone checking, if the parents aren't accessing the child's Google Classroom, they may not know what the child is missing, or they may not be aware of what the assignments are for that particular day.
Well, that may be interesting to have something for the parents, a training for the parents, or a workshop, a virtual workshop for parents, to help them through this process as well. because I know I would be extremely challenged.
Right, right, right. And I can say the teachers even included videos with some of their digital platforms, just to offer that explanation for those parents who may not necessarily understand it in writing.
Yeah.
But we're working diligently to ensure that it's a seamless process. But it's definitely going to be a challenge with everything that's going on. It's a fluid situation, and we just don't know. I mean, we're in August already, and we're expected to have students in our buildings in about a month.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, we're dealing with the health and safety aspect, but we have to consider the educational component as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, being that I'm a special ed teacher, with most districts, if I'm not mistaken, a lot of the districts are having hybrid classes for the regular classroom students, but some of the special ed students come in like every day. Is that something you all are considering?
Well, that has not been discussed as of yet. I did read about there was a school in North Jersey that offered all special education students to return. And then in that school, there was a COVID case, and then they had to shut it down. So, we're just trying to limit contact and minimize student contact as best we can due to the circumstances. But I doubt that the district will consider that at this time.
Yeah, Mayor, you said something I want to go back to. We know that there was a moratorium on evictions, and we know that for a lot of people it took them a long time to get unemployment, and so we were backed up. So, what I'm really concerned about is this flood, that when this moratorium is lifted, that, people may be 3, 4, 5 months, backed up, and all of a sudden, all of that's going to be due, and there's going to be a flood of cases, in landlord-tenant case court to, evict so many people. And I know you made mention of a program where people can apply for mortgage and rental assistance. Can you further elucidate on that?
Yes, it's a program by the state where they apply for rental assistance, like businesses. We're not talking about residential.
Oh, not residential.
However, one of the things that we do know that the courts are very liberal when it comes to evictions. They tend to side on behalf of the tenant a lot of times, and I think that judges will make the logical decisions considering this pandemic that we're going through, and give the residents as much relief as possible. As I stated, we are attempting to work with some of our federal partners to provide some relief from the city with a city program. We should hear something on that sooner rather than later, in addition to other funds, other COVID-related funds, because one of the things that we're doing, talking about transitioning back to work, our workforce have been working remotely, the majority of it. Besides the first responders, police, fire, and public works, we had to bring public works back full time because just the amount of complaints that we were getting from residents and everything. And kudos to the program that you guys are involved in. We talked to ABC yesterday, where now the children are going to help on some portions of the boardwalk and other areas of the city.
Wow.
That are needed. But also, we have to take the lead. We, this is Atlantic City. We have to be cutting edge in everything that we do. And half of my directors got a presentation last week, and tomorrow we're getting a presentation on this thermal scan, where if you go in Hard Rock, up to 14 people at a time, I don't know how they do it with the technology, but it flashes your temperature above your head, like an old school 80s video game.
Right.
With the number above your head. But, if you're flagged, I believe it's over 100.4, you're not allowed to come in. So we had an interesting presentation from a vendor next week that it's about the size of an iPad, state-of-the-art cameras where you could come up to the door at City Hall, and it has the capability, if you don't meet the temperature requirements, it won't let you in the door. Your face will be used, or your image will be used for multiple things. Signing in, signing out, because we had the fingerprint system, which causes a lot of concern during these times. So your face can sign you in and out, and your temperature wouldn't allow you to come to work.
Wow.
So there's some things that we could customize it, but if we truly, want to show that, we mean business and that the city of Atlantic City is promoting safety first for its employees and visitors to the building, we need a program like that. But back to the original point of the court system, they always tend to side, on behalf of the tenant. And I'm sure that with all these monies that are coming through that the state has applied for, that there'll be some type of program that'll be announced sooner rather than later.
That sounds like a good program. That system's thinking to work for the schools as well. But I have a question from Denise Bowles. This is for Dr. Smalls. Have night school been considered for those parents who work during the day?
No, that has not been a consideration, or that has not been discussed.
But that's something.
But I just want to add a point.
For
The good thing about like the remote process, most of the teachers are flexible in that if some parents are not home during the day, the students have a certain amount of time to complete the work. So the parents would be able to, in the evening when they return home, they will be able to sit with their child to complete the work in the evening. So not necessarily night school per se, but just being flexible with the time that the assignments are submitted to, just to try to accommodate those parents who are not able to help their child during the day.
Mayor, can I go back to you for a minute?
Yes.
I know Atlantic Avenue has you have been a real advocate for changing, the look, the atmosphere of Atlantic Avenue, which is our major thoroughfare through the city. What is your plans for Atlantic Avenue? I think all of us would love to, because I think there's no place in the country that have peep shows and right on the main drag of the city, right next to businesses where our kids walk. So what's your plan for Atlantic Avenue? Is that what you call them, peep shows? Adult bookstore.
Correct.
I think we're the only place in the world.
Don't ask me.
Other places have a red light district where they're limited to those places. We got those things, right in the mixture, right in on the Atlantic Avenue. So,
Reverend Days.
yeah.
This is a church audience. We gotta turn that lingo down.
I didn't know what you call it, but you know what I'm
They
talking about.
know.
Yeah.
Just say an adult novelty store, no peep show.
Okay, adult novelty store. Okay.
Yeah. No, but my administration came out swinging with Atlantic Avenue pre-pandemic. As you know, the world changed. The world changed how public safety interacts with people during this time, the precautions that needed to be taken in place, the new schedule that our police been on. I did talk to Chief White last week in an attempt to get the Atlantic Avenue Task Force back. And as you know, the governor and the lieutenant governor started the Atlantic City Restart and Recovery Committee, and the lieutenant governor is on the same page with me. She wants Atlantic and Pacific Avenue transformed. I know that there's some discussion with businesses like the Adult Novelty Store and others trying to find like a quote red light district, of like activities. That's a discussion that we'll have down the line. Atlantic Avenue is a priority to keep it clean. It's embarrassing when you have the type of people. Listen, I understand that homeless people are looking for a home, and at the end of the day, we're all God's children. We all have family or close friends that's in a situation, and some of us are a paycheck away from a situation like that. So you don't look down. But my problem is you have municipalities near and far subscribing to Greyhound therapy here to the city of Atlantic City, and that's unacceptable because it's not accepted in any other municipality locally. So they feel they say send a one-way bus ticket to Atlantic City, and even during the pandemic, when all of those hotels on the offshore towns, they all did an executive order because we said we wanted to move the homeless out of Atlantic City to protect the people of Atlantic City. And they sent people back. The county didn't cooperate. And, we have a problem. We have a homeless problem. And it's not an Atlantic City homeless problem. These are people that are not from here. I sit on CRDA. I'm a board member just by my seat as my position as mayor. And we have a contract with Volunteers of America, $100,000. And in 2019, the furthest person that we sent back was from Sacramento, California. What are they doing in Atlantic City? So we have to be mindful of that. We have to keep being aggressive. I promise to the good people of Atlantic City that, I don't like what we see on Pacific or Atlantic Avenue. And, we're going to do something about it as we've done in the past. And we're going to work with various stakeholders to show that Atlantic City can work together and have a, clean and safe Pacific and Atlantic Avenue, and not just Pacific and Atlantic Avenue. The goal of that task force, it was a pilot task force. It worked very well. And, our goal is to have that same energy and effort in the troubled neighborhoods as well, in some form of community policing. And I'm leading the charge on that with making sure that we get the necessary resources, not only from the city of Atlantic City with the chief with his deployment plan, but also getting the requisite amount of officers to do the specialized programs like people citywide want the community policing. We need more officers to do that, and we just put in for another request for CRDA to hire 15 additional officers, fully sworn officers, in addition to the class twos that they've been providing. So that is a priority for my administration, and now it's a priority for the state of New Jersey because the lieutenant governor is saying the same thing. She wants Pacific and Atlantic Avenue transformed, and we're going to do it.
I think this is a question that I know everybody's asking, want to ask, and because Atlantic City, unfortunately, is a food desert. We've got more corner stores than we've got corners, and but we don't
I
have,
can answer that.
but we really don't have a a supermarket
Right.
that
Store.
that people feel comfortable first of all going to, and quality food. And we know there were some plans that were to do a supermarket that all of us are very excited about, because most people have to travel offshore,
Absolutely, yeah.
to buy quality food. So what's the plan? What's going on with our supermarket in Atlantic City?
I can update you on that. And when the people understand this story, I think it shows that ShopRite is bullish on the city of Atlantic City. As you know, generally ShopRites are about 80,000 square feet, 60,000 square feet, middle store. They was going to put a 40,000 square foot store here in Atlantic City. They done some research. They were bullish on Atlantic City. They want to build a commissary. They want to build a regional training center
Right.
here in Atlantic City, and they wanted to expand their footprint to 60,000. That's not possible at that location. And even in the meeting, I said, well, would you consider doing something unique as going 2 stories? Here's the situation. They wanted to build a 60,000 square foot store here, and they wanted to close Epseek and ShopRite and redirect all that business
Wow.
to Atlantic City. But where the supermarket is located, if you expand across Indiana Avenue in Baltic, you're right in front of a fire station. You can't vacate that street. You can't close that street. On the other side, if you expand across Ohio Avenue, that's the emergency route directly to the hospital. You can't do that. And no engineering studies, nothing is worth a person's life, because a matter of 20 seconds could be the difference between life and death. And detouring around MLK Boulevard, sending more traffic there is just not going to work. We met with them in late February, and they were supposed to come back in person to a meeting with us at CRDA on March 18th. Well, we all know what happened in March.
Right.
Discussions are still being had. We told them to come back and give us what we originally wanted, which was a 40,000 square foot facility. So discussions are still being had. That's a priority. There's an agreement, and we're hoping to execute that as soon as possible and give the residents of Atlantic City the ShopRite and the quality store that they deserve. So it's just one of those things where it's the way of the world right now. that we're living in that we haven't been able to reconvene, but the discussions have been going on. To the people of Atlantic City, we haven't forgotten about you, but this is just like a lot of things that just can't happen as we want them or as fast as we want them to happen.
Okay, good. LaQuetta, is there anything you'd like to say to the members of Second Baptist and especially to parents as we prepare for this? Oh, before I say that, before we do that, let me thank you, Mayor, for sponsoring our services at the Surf. We had a great time. You and your wife was there, and we had a wonderful time. Thank you so much for making that happen for us, and we really want to say we appreciate it greatly. Because
No
by
problem.
sponsoring, they paid for the Surf for a Second Baptist, so we really all got to give a shout out to them for that. And we look forward to seeing you this month, the third Sunday.
And in your words, Reverend Days, I look forward to having a glorious time in the Lord.
Amen.
You know, and Mayor, I'm getting so many people. Matter of fact, Jody Bird says the information that you're giving is really helpful and important to them. And we've got so many people that have given you congratulations.
Thank
Oh, somebody's asking. Sister Carla Watts got a question for you. When will the streets get paved? Anytime soon? Because some of our streets are, man, I'm telling you, some of our streets are in pretty bad shape, Mayor.
you. Yes, yes. Construction was supposed to start in the spring, which we know what happened there. We are paving them one at a time. Obviously, if we had enough money, we would pave every street. That's just not possible at this time. But the worst streets in the city will get paved, such as down the street from you, Huron Avenue, Indiana, that block where you make the turn to go towards Venice Park. That is on the list. Also, Route 30 in Kentucky, where you coming off the turn, going
Oh, my
straight down there.
goodness.
That's one of the streets. And basically the entire New York Avenue
I'm
from
telling you, you lose your muffler, your your alignment. That's one of the worst streets in the city.
yes. So New York Avenue, starting from Mediterranean Avenue all the way to Route 30, maybe one or two streets will be paved fully, as well as various streets around there. And also, let me just let the good people of Atlantic City know this, that due to our relationship with the state of New Jersey, we have received $19.6 million free money in resiliency to shore up our bulkheads, synchronization of traffic signals, streets, pump stations, and everything. So we're getting a lot of projects. There's a lot of money that's going to be going through Atlantic City, and we want to make sure that we get some local participation in all of that, because we have to rebuild our economy, and we can't count on casino gaming. We have to reinvent ourselves. So that's what's going on as far as that.
One of the things I do want to say before we ask your wife to come back is I'm really happy about the relationship that the state and the city has.
Yeah.
Because that has, we went through a time when the governor and the city were at such great odds, and but relationship between you and Governor Murphy and our Lieutenant Governor Sheila Oliver has just been tremendous, and their commitment to Atlantic City has been
Yes.
absolutely amazing. And you've been
Yes.
able to forward, and then not only that, but the relationship that you have in the casino industry is different as well. And and I think all of that combination, you got the public-private commitment, because all that Hard Rock is doing, and especially for our 200 kids. And matter of fact, we got a second shift now that's going to be just with our lit program, with those kids just going to be cleaning the boardwalk. So we've got two teams that's just going to be cleaning the boardwalk from 4 o'clock to 8 o'clock every day. And the guys have been doing a really, really good job. I'm really proud of that group.
And to piggyback on what you were saying about the relationship with the state, I remember when.
We all remember when.
Yeah, we remember when.
I was, fighting hard for the city, and unfortunately we were taken over. But, after, the decision was made, it was best for the taxpayers to put, your feelings to the side and be a professional and work with the state to get things done. And that's how we've been able to do it. And under this administration, and people got to understand, if you read MISRA, which is the Municipal Stabilization and Recovery Act, the state takeover law, they can make all of us figureheads. They can make all the decisions that they want. It's nothing that we can do as a community because that's what they fought for. However, they are letting us run the city. Of course, it's in consultation. When you have, all that money invested, you want to make sure. But we have an incredible working relationship, not just with Governor Murphy, Lieutenant Governor Sheila Oliver, but they have dumped the resources here, men and women power on the ground. Kimberly Holmes has been a godsend. Rob Long is working hard on behalf of the city as well. And these are high level state executives that are here a few times a week working alongside of us. Kim Holmes is Sheila Oliver's chief of staff. Rob Long is the deputy commissioner of the Department of Community Affairs, which oversees the DCA. We have Tom Shanahan, who's a state monitor here as well as Melanie Walter, who is the director of local governmental services, who technically has the decision-making authority over the city of Atlantic City. And I can't forget our staff. You know, Ernest Corsi. I was going to say Reverend Corsi, but I didn't want to disrespect the church. Um, but Corsi is connected. I couldn't ask for a better chief of staff, and our business administrator Anthony Swine, as well as our other directors. So together as a team, we are really making this work for the city of Atlantic City, and we couldn't accomplish anything without all of those moving parts. So I'm excited about the relationship, and I'm excited about the future. And I know by law, the state takeover is scheduled to expire in November 2021. We'll see what happens. We'll be ready to deal with it either way it goes.
Well, Mayor James Knox said, "Thank you for paving New York Avenue." So that's right for the school. So he said, "Thank you so much, and much appreciated." And Joey
Yes.
Gaynor, I don't know what this means. Maybe something that says "Green and White Star for you, Mighty Star." But I don't know what
That's
that means.
the Eagles.
Oh, is that what
You
it
said
is?
what?
He
Green
said,
and white star.
he said a green and white star for you.
Eagles.
Joey Gaynor says green
Birthday.
and white star for you, Mighty Small Senior. So maybe I don't know that much about football anymore. I don't follow it so much. So, but Laquetta, what would you have to say to? We want to thank you for coming on. We
Yes.
really appreciate it. And
You
it's been
both.
so informative. What would you like to say to the Second Baptist and to maybe parents and students?
Well, it's a Second Baptist Church. I miss seeing all of you. I hope everyone is staying safe. Just to the parents of school-age children, if I would challenge all of you to visit the governor's webpage and read the reopening plan. It's a 104-page document which all school districts in the state of New Jersey are using
Well,
as our guide.
I hope they got a bridge one because we're not reading 104 plan. I hope you better send them to the bridge website with the bullet points.
But I just need everyone to know that the plans that we're making, they're based on the guidelines from the state.
Yes.
And we're going to do everything that we can as much as possible to ensure that all the students are safe upon return. It is going to be a challenge. I mean, schools, as far as the procedures that schools are putting into place, I mean, it's going to be different. Parents may not be able to visit the schools as frequent as they like. So we just need parents to be flexible, be understanding, and just realize that we're living in a pandemic. Like, people are dying, and it is a risk in allowing children to return. However, based on the health experts and based on the governor's guidelines, we're just using his plan to ensure that the health, safety, and well-being of everyone who enter all the schools is the top priority. But again, it's going to be a challenge, and I would just encourage everyone to just check the school district website for updates. As the school district staff, we're working throughout the summer to ensure that the plans are finalized. All new information will be added to the website as updated.
Mayor, what would you like to say to Second in the city? Because what is interesting, people from all over the country, actually, people who part of Atlantic City moved various places. They check in on us, and from across the state as well. And what is interesting, this program gets so much viewership from such a wide range of people.
Yes.
And to have you come on now is everybody saying the information you've given is so great. What do you have to say, not only to the residents of Atlantic City, but to everybody who's listening from near and far.
Well, first, Reverend Days and First Lady, I'd like to thank you for this opportunity tonight to address everyone that is listening. I would just say, listen, just continue to keep the city of Atlantic City in prayer, continue to keep my family and I in prayer. Um, I joined this church in 2009 during a rough time in my life. And I remember coming to Second Baptist on Easter Sunday in 2009, and it was in the middle of the campaign. And all the looks, I said, Reverend Days, I said, look, man, I'm going to join this church after the election. I don't want to, you know the looks.
Yeah.
But Reverend Days, you not only have become a spiritual advisor, you become one of my biggest supporters, and more importantly, a friend, someone I could talk to about anything. You've been there with me through the ups and the downs. You've always given me good words of encouragement, and the church has embraced me. And all that I've been through, people have seemed to, give me a chance. And I got the opportunity that I always wanted, and I'm taking full advantage of it, and I will continue to take advantage of it. Listen, we will get through this. This too shall pass. As I often state, tough times don't last. Tough people do. This is something that we don't have a blueprint for. Now, my wife is still in my terminology, and because I tell her you have to stay on message. You say things over and over again, but we're preparing for a tropical storm. We have a blueprint for that. If there was snow removal or a blizzard coming, there's a blueprint for that. If we needed to evacuate the island, there's a blueprint for that. There's no blueprint from COVID. We're all learning this on the fly, from leadership all the way down to, the average citizen. This is something that none of us could have expected. We're doing the absolute best job that we can under the circumstances. And I would just continue to tell the Second Baptist family and the city of Atlantic City, please be patient with us. God ain't through with us yet.
Well, we want you both to know that we are very proud of you.
Yes.
And thank God for the tremendous job that you guys are doing, and the positive influence you have on so many people. Mayor, I crisscrossed the state too, and move in a lot of different circles, and everyone has so many positive things to say about you, your administration, and the way you're operating, and the way you're running the city. And that just does my heart proud, and we're really thankful. And we're thankful for Second Baptist for seeing the talent and supporting both of you.
Absolutely.
And we're just grateful. Second Baptist have so many educators and so many principals. I can't even name them all, but I just a couple have been on here. Jody Burns, and we pray Jody's doing well and coming. And so many principals. I'm not even going to start trying to name them all, but we're so thankful for all of you. Thank you for coming on and being a part of the show, not the show, but our family check-in. And it's been so informative to have you guys on. It was best. We'll have you on again if y'all come back on. I know it was, y'all had to, it's humbling for us to have you guys come on and be a part of this today. Thank you, Second Baptist, for tuning in, and we pray that God has continued to bless you and keep you. Please be mindful of those who are in bereavement.
Yes.
And let's look out for each other. Let's continue to pray for each other. And we look forward with great excitement. Thanks to Mayor Smalls, and somebody just said that you are Stockton strong. So we thank God for each and every one of you, and we look forward to seeing you the 16th, third Sunday, 8 o'clock, Surf Stadium. God bless you, everyone. Good night. Thank you again for coming on and being part of the show.
God bless you.
Our family check-in. There we go.
Family check-in.
Take care.
Yes.
Right.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
It's a great day here in the city of Atlantic City.
Great day.